All right, good afternoon. We're going to call to order this meeting of Parks and Rec for Tuesday, May 6th. We're going to start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, and we'll do roll call.
Kim Razan.
Ed Ward.
Paul Leogrand.
Ken Frieda.
Okay, so Dana Collins, she resigned.
Okay.
So we will have 2 openings as of right now for the Parks and Recreation Advisory Committee.
And did Dave resign before the previous meeting? He did. Okay, so. All right, any public comment? No one online?
Should I say something?
I think we have a spot for you, Joe. All right, let's talk about the action log review for April. Did we have that? Let's take a look at it.
Okay.
Ooh, yes, please. Okay. Community event. I did not provide you a community event this past month, but I will definitely keep that in mind to present something, a new idea for you for that. The big topic here is the presentation of the pavilion to the Board of Supervisors. That will take place on Thursday. What's the date there, Karen? The 16th?
Yes.
Okay, we're going to get on the agenda for that meeting to present the pavilion. I'll be giving them the presentation.
Excuse me, the 15th.
The 15th, okay, Thursday the 15th. We're going to make sure that we're on the agenda. I will be speaking with Georgia on that. I know that we're kind of on a tight deadline, so we have to make sure. I'll take that as a takeaway to handle tonight, okay? To reach out to Georgia to make sure that.
And the meeting is at 3 o'clock.
The meeting's at 3 p.m. on the 15th, yep. I think the more the merrier for that, so I'll be presenting, but if anyone would like to come, I think better have a representation, right? So if you
Agreed,
can,
yeah.
that would be excellent.
And I'll update the log and get it to Carrie with the
Okay.
new date.
Awesome, great, thank you.
I will be there. I'll make that sure.
Awesome, I appreciate it. All right, so we have to talk about the dimensions for the proposed track.
I think that was complete.
That's complete.
Yeah, the gold gray areas,
They're all
kind of
complete?
completed, so
Okay.
just I'll gray them out. I'll put the complete word down there from now on. I'll update
Perfect.
that, so it looks
Great.
better. We're learning on this one,
Yeah, no, that's great.
what works best.
Okay, so a request for more detailed budget summary so that PrAC sees the projects that are covered in summary. So it kind of brings us into.
I'm gonna kind of throw
Yep.
this out there. I know I'm jumping ahead, but this is what you will see from now.
Okay,
We did make some adjustments from the last one that we had to this one, and it kind of tells you a little bit more information. It broke it down to Parks and Recreation. By the way, this is Carrie Runyon. Parks and Recreation is primarily like your soccer fields, and then the fun park and the linear park. So, and then the pool is a separate area, and those numbers are in there separate, and then you have your capital projects. So this is what you would see from now on, kind of break it down. And we're always a month behind, so.
right, for 30 days trailing. I think that's great though, to have that type of breakdown like that. It's very clear.
And just real quick on that, I think one of Dave, I know he's no longer on the board, but the questions on the Park and Rec, that 300,000, I think we had a question before, how much of that was the PRAC things we had submitted, and I think the answer was nothing yet because we didn't meet the timeline last year. That's why we're trying to do this year. Okay, I just want to make sure I'm on this right page. Okay.
Correct. And then I can also tell you that the budget has been submitted for 25, 26, with some improvements at the fun park. We can't do, but that will not happen till after the Commons area, Commons Park admin building is completed. So I think that was like a 2027 type of thing.
I saw
The-
that.
Right, the pavilion, what we're presenting regarding the pavilion, bringing it back there, is proposed for 26, 27, correct?
Correct.
All right, great.
Back to here.
Okay, so let's jump back up to the approval of the minutes. We have 3 meetings, February 4th, March 4th, and April 1st. Do you want to bring up February 4th there so we can get a motion to approve those?
Can I ask a question on the February ones before? I reviewed all of these.
Make
just
sure you say your
before.
name. Yes.
This is Tamara Zahn, and just on there, it was on the February one, during our February meeting, we had talked about, or I think someone had brought up a proposal to rename it. My thought after looking at this a couple months is maybe that's premature and we table that until we know what we're gonna upgrade it to. We kind of have our ideas, but it seems silly to rename it right now as we're still kind of in the development stage. So that was my only thought. Other than that, I would,
You're talking about, this is Carrie Runyon again, talking about the fun park?
yes, ma'am.
Okay. I agree. That would be a better
Yeah.
result. You want to actually put the amenities in, know what you have
Yeah.
before you
Yeah,
name it.
give it a
Before you
name. Yeah.
You know,
You don't want to name it a water park and not have water.
Exactly.
except in the summer.
Right.
So do you want a motion for the February, or we could do it all together?
You can do them all together.
Can we?
don't-
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
You don't have to separate them if you
Okay.
don't want to.
Excellent. Can we
Yeah,
get,
yeah. This is Ken Freed. The only thing I saw that was just confusing for a moment, I guess it doesn't matter now because we're all here today at this time. I noticed that the minutes from the last meeting referenced the meeting today at 6 o'clock.
yes.
Just a small typo that the meeting was at 1:30. That's why I was confused when I reached out to you.
Right. So administration made a final decision that the meetings will be at 1:30 on Thursdays, the first Tuesday of the month.
Tuesday.
And unless there's something that they really need some input from the public, and we need to do that towards the evening, then we can have that meeting, but we can make that announcement ahead of time.
So this is Tamara's on, so in this meeting's minutes for today, can we put that the decision's been made? Because I know
Yeah.
in one of the meeting minutes last month, I think you mentioned that, hey, it's something to talk about, but we didn't say
Right.
decisions made, you know?
Yeah, Paulio Grand, we had talked about discussing it, but it seems that there's no discussion to be had, right, Carrie?
Correct.
Okay,
Okay.
so they are going to be at 1:30, so we update that. It's excellent.
But this is Ken again, what we had talked about, I tried to get within 1:30, but there was maybe something earlier. That was going to be something I think we would have discussed today. But when the, not necessarily up to 1:30.
Well, I think what Carrie is saying is the administration has made the decision that it's going to be at 1:30.
All right, I just think that lends itself to the problems we have with the public showing up. I know if I was doing things during the course of the day, I may not be able to stop to come to a meeting at 1:30. My thought, just stepping back for a minute, is that something early in the day might help people attend this on their way to something else. But if it's been decided, then it's been decided.
Okay.
Okay. With that being said, can we get a motion? So there's 3 meeting minutes that we have to approve. One from February 4th, 2025, March 4th, 2025, and April 1st. So can we get a motion to approve
I'll
those?
make the motion to approve. This is Tamara's on.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Awesome. Okay, great. That's that. Okay, March financial report, if we want to pull that back up, are there any questions on that? So as far as, let me ask regarding the pool, do we see the doors within that or no?
That's under, this is Carrie Runyon again, that's under maintenance and repairs.
Okay. So that's, and the doors, just so my memory serves, was 40, what was that line item? It was 40,000, just about?
I believe.
In the maintenance and repairs, what else is included in that, Carrie? Is
It's
the,
chemicals, it's heat,
was the heater
heaters are in
situation?
there, yes.
Okay. So, and we repaired both, or replaced both heaters, you said?
Both heaters have been replaced last month. One went down, they were both the same age. That means
Yes.
the other one should be going and failing soon, so it's better just to take care of it in one shot.
Absolutely.
Plus you get a better deal.
Awesome. I don't think I have any other questions on that. Anyone else?
No.
No? All right, cool. Items for discussion. So attendance for meetings. We want to talk about that. I think we've been kind of talking about that. Are we not?
So there is, this is Carrie Runyon again, so there is a resolution already been established. Committee member who is absent for 3 successive meetings or 4 meetings within 1 fiscal year without reasonable cause or justifiable excuse is determined by the committee shall be deemed and considered to have resigned their membership on the committee, creating a vacancy. And that's kind of what happened with Dana Collins today. But she did meet that requirement that she, so she did resign her membership.
Okay. Yeah, it's tough, right? And some of us are still working and we're trying to get the timing of these meetings right, and it's difficult in summer because people are away. But, you know, I think we haven't had a lot of people that have just not shown up for 3 times consecutively,
No.
so.
No, it is not. There's usually meetings behind it.
Right.
And I know this one is regarding her position where she is working now.
Well, she had mentioned that because she came
Right.
in tonight, and she said one of the challenges would be where she works and
Scheduling.
getting here at the early round.
Okay.
All right, well, all the best for her.
Yeah.
And let's talk about the member selection. So,
So we have one. I think we know this guy, and I do want to say one thing about Mr. Ed Moore. Congratulations to you, Mr. Moore, for graduating.
Thank you.
that's awesome. That's really cool.
Could you tell us what you graduated from and?
I graduated with a Bachelor of Arts and Science degree, magna cum laude. I am going to hopefully be a music director at the Lee County Schools sometime next year. So
Wow, that's great.
that's my goal, and we'll see.
Phenomenal. Awesome.
Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Meanwhile, he is up for, his term has ended, and so we have to see it. And I asked him if he was interested in staying on, and he is, so this is his information that's up on the screen.
I don't have any questions for you, sir, and I would like to make a motion to ask you to please stay on. If anyone would like to second that.
Tamara Zahn will second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, it's unanimous.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
What a relief.
And congrats. It's really exciting stuff.
It is, I gotta tell you.
You could tell he's smiling too much.
To walk down the road and know that I'm a college graduate finally,
It's very cool.
you know, it's just, I like it.
That brings us to our second person, Mr. Joseph Schofield Jr. And Mr. Schofield is here today. If he would like to stand up and come to the mic, give us a little bit of background about himself. and the reason why he'd love to be on this committee.
Well, I'm Joe Schofield. I live in Carina in Pelican Preserve. I've been here 11 years. And I made a comment at the CDD meeting about this committee and the implications of the taxes that we'll probably be paying. And I asked them, what are we getting for our community? What's my money going to get me? And Doug Banks popped right up and had answers, which totally surprised me, but Doug's a good guy, and I guess I shouldn't have been surprised. But then the thing was, when I get on the committee, yes, I do. I've been on committees. I was on the PPAC committee for about 5 years. I started the Pelican Preserve CDD Landscaping Committee, and I got 30 members in Pelican Preserve to volunteer for it. We had some issues, and our community association didn't quite like our goals, and I'm not a yes man. I'm a person who thinks and voices my opinion. I hope people like it. If not, I accept that fact, so I can be bent different ways. But I think Parks and Recreation is critical. I grew up in Philadelphia, famous city for its parks. Lived in Chicago, and another city with great parks. Lived in a little town called Naperville, Illinois. Fantastic parks. I've benefited from them. I've spent lots of hours on baseball diamonds, fixing them up for my kids and other kids. And I feel that at my age, and I'm 80, believe it or not, I don't, but we owe it to the young kids to give them stuff to do and keep them occupied. But I've also realized we owe it to the 80s people to have stuff for them. So that was my question to Doug. What are we going to get out of it? And I thought about that more seriously, and I thought it's not just Pelican Preserve. Gateway has a lot of retired people in it. And what are they getting for their money? So I think my perspective is looking at that, but I'm open-minded and I love kids. I've got 11 grandkids, great grandkids, and I'm still a kid at heart. So I think I have a lot to offer. I've worked with the CDD folks for years. I've worked with Tony, the attorney. I've worked with Elle. I've worked with the previous board chairman here. I've worked with Laura quite a bit and the current staff. So I've got a lot of experience. I have a degree in mechanical engineering, and I went back to school, and after my mother-in-law embarrassed me with a card that said 40 years rather than the 4, I got a degree in business administration. But I also, when I took over and started the landscaping committee, I went and took a class at my expense to learn about Florida landscaping. And Elle, and I believe one of your predecessors maybe, and I can't think of his name anymore, very nice guy, were very, very helpful, encouraging to me. They helped us put our contract together, which we went out for bidding, and got a landscaper for the Pelican Preserve side of the CDD landscaping, which was quite an undertaking. So I've worked very well, I think, with most people other than my particular board at times. And I'm not embarrassed or ashamed of that, quite frankly. I try to be honest, give an honest opinion. If I'm wrong, I'll be the first to admit it and apologize. So I would love to be on this group, see where we go, how we go, and learn more about what you're doing. We're part of Gateway. I've always told Pelican Preserve people, we are connected at the hip. We will never get that surgically separated. So rather than kicking and fussing, let's join, be part of the party, and accomplish great things together. I really believe that. Not everyone in my community does. And I'm sure if you have friends over there, you may have heard some of them kicking and fussing about methodology. My perspective there is, growing up in Pennsylvania, we have townships, you have cities, we all pay taxes for what? Parks and recreation, whether we use them or not, they're part of what it is. Yes. I think Pelican, and my neighbors will kill me for this, but we are part of it, and it's I don't think that it's unusual we got a 20-year reprieve and now we're being asked to maybe contribute a little bit. I don't have an issue with that. But I don't like it. More taxes, I don't like that. But I think we have to work together and make it work. And I think our board and our CDD members from Pelican are working with I hate to say yours and ours because I don't believe that really, but they're working to try to get things compromised somewhere. And I think that can be done. But I'd like to be part of this, see what I can do to help you. And I don't plan to make a career out of it, but I want to be, you have term limits, I just heard, 2 years or something like that?
Correct.
Okay, so the Pelican Preserve subcommittees are the same way now, 2 years. So if you accept me for me, this is me, I'd be happy to try and work with you folks and support what you want to do for everybody.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Any questions for Jeff?
Oh, what's the pay?
I'm still waiting on that one too. I asked that a while ago.
Whatever it is, it's time and a half.
Yeah, time and a half.
What instrument do you play?
My primary is saxophone.
Saxophone. I'm a percussionist.
Me too.
Or a drummer that can't remember playing Wipeout at a party one night.
There you go.
You were wiped out.
Well, it was. Somebody else was playing the bass drum.
You're a I'm a drummer. I'm also a piano player. We got to get together. We got to do
I
something.
started on piano and went to drums. My dad said I had to be in the band
Very nice.
anyhow. After many, many years, my drum teacher was Chubby Checker's drummer.
Really?
Yeah, well, I grew up in Philly. It was a music tent. You got into the high school band and the band leader would invite you to the dance band or the jazz band, invitation only. And when he did that, he gave you a slip of paper. That was the professional musician you were going to take lessons from
Wow.
at your expense.
Yeah, of course.
So that's who I
That's
got.
great.
But anyhow,
Well, Joe,
Thank
really
you.
excited to listen to your story. I mean, I'm excited. I think you would bring a wealth of knowledge. You clearly have wonderful experience. So you're passionate about this place in general. And I think everyone on this committee is passionate. That's why we're here. So I think you would be an awesome fit. I would love to have you, but let's open it to a vote. All right, so I'll make a motion to absolutely invite Joseph to the committee.
I'll second.
All in favor?
yes. So I think then it has to go to the CDD for their,
Yes, exactly.
so their meeting is the 15th.
Yes,
Yep.
that's correct. You will be asked to go and it'll be.
Well, I'll be at that. I go to their meetings anyhow.
I
So.
know. I see.
So,
Okay,
Okay.
well, thank
Thank
you.
you so much.
You don't mind if I sit through and listen to the rest of
Oh,
your meeting?
absolutely. Go for it.
I'm anxious to learn.
Okay.
Thank you.
thank you. All right. Meeting time discussions.
Ready to talk?
We already talked about it. It's 1:30. But, okay, one thing about that though, like you said, Carrie, if we were to present something or we needed a survey done or we needed some type of input where we feel like it needs to have communication with the community, we can arrange for a later meeting, right?
That's correct. That is correct.
Okay.
And that's how these meetings, every other month started. We had one
Right.
meeting where we had a lot of people, and then we said we'll do every other month, and then also we had no more than 6.
This is Ken. I had mentioned at the last meeting the possibility of sending out a blast email to the residents to maybe let them know.
Parks and Rec advisory.
Yeah, I mean,
meetings.
to me, it makes sense to get the word out to the public. That way we may get people coming to them.
Right.
Yeah, this is Paul Urban. It's interesting because I recall joining just before the dog park conversations were taking place. And that the community was very involved with that communication and conversation, right? So, and I think it falls off when there's not that one big thing.
Right.
But I feel we do need to promote our committee a little better so I agree with you about an email, right? We need to remind people that we exist and, you know, a lot of people in the community, they say to themselves like, oh, I would like to have this, or what are they doing over here? Or where's my money going? And they don't know where to go to talk and have the conversation and what we're actually doing. So more creative ways, whether it be an email or, you know, we make sure that we are in front of people for community events, right? So if we're doing the red, white, and blue, or red, white, and pool, you know, that we're making sure on top of the sponsors, you know, we may want to also have some type of thing there.
Well, my suggestion is for Red, White, and Pool is I would really like to maybe get you guys, we need to talk about maybe getting some type of shirt. That shows that you guys are part of the Parks and Rec Advisory Committee. And then people can talk to you.
Right.
If you want to have a booth, a spot, they can come up to the table, they can talk to you, ask you questions. That would be my suggestion. Because if I have enough,
I like that.
yeah, so I mean, we have, you know, sponsors there, why not have you guys?
Can it be a
It's
really
Parks,
cool shirt? Can
I'll
it
do
be a really
my
cool
best.
Parks and Rec shirt?
You can send me some suggestions.
I will. I will.
I'll make it happen.
It's in the minutes now, you're gonna.
I will make it happen.
That's great. Awesome. Cool. All right. Do we want to talk about the 26 budget decision? Let's bring that up.
So this is our 2025-26 budget, starts October 1st. This kind of spells out everything, okay? It kind of, I mean, this is what you kind of wanted to see, right, Tamara?
Yes, yes.
This will spell out exactly how we, I mean, that's why everything we show you on a monthly basis, it would be it'd be a lot to see. This kind of gives you a better idea and why we are wanting this information already put out there now. And this goes to the board for approval. It's in their hands now, and there's some tweaks here and there, and then they'll do a final approval, I think in August or September.
August, yeah.
This is the actual operating part of the budget, okay? And then there is a capital. This is the CIP Capital Improvement Plan budget. See? This is our 5-year budget.
Now, this is our 5-year budget. 26 has been approved.
Not yet,
Okay, so 26 will be approved this coming
Year. This coming.
August. Okay,
So this is what we put in,
this is all proposed.
it's also a proposal. And then, you know, this can be adjusted, so I think, for example, this went in already, that's why. We had,
What are you looking for?
I just, the vacuums?
No, maybe they just took them out.
Yeah, so it didn't,
Right.
Yeah,
It wouldn't be part of 26, right?
no, but I had them in there, and then it happened, and then they probably pulled it. I didn't know, I pushed it, because heaters are lifespan, they say anywhere from 3 to 5 years.
Right.
Ours went a little bit longer.
Okay.
But I always try to, so I will, it's probably in 3031. So it's on the next 5 years. Once 26 is done, then we'll go into 3031, so.
So this is Tamara Zahn, and I'm thinking on this budget, assuming this month we get to present the pavilion, our goal is hopefully we could get that, we would see this on here. If not, they'll push it to 2027, but that would be something we would possibly see. Okay.
Correct. And just because you don't get it in the 20, because you probably will not have it for 2026 because they'll still be doing the Commons Park, which takes about 12, 14 months.
Right.
You'll be able to input that again next year for the budget.
And so let's say next year, so you're saying for 2027, which I get, but is that something then that as a park and rec, we gotta go re-push it, or do they
Right.
have it on there, hey, here's the next things, right? Once we've presented it,
Polio grant, let me just speak to that a little bit, because we've got caught up in that
Yeah.
before,
Mhm.
right? Where it's like we presented something, we said that we'd like to see this, and then, oh, we didn't make the budget cut off, and it disappears, it's into the ether. So we need to make sure that exactly what you're saying, if we present this now, that this is something that will not lose, that will not drop off the budget. If it isn't approved for 2026, and we can make this argument when we're there, right? Like, if this is not to be approved for 2026 because we're saying that there either isn't physical space or time available or monies, right? That it does automatically get pushed to 2027 because we don't want to see it.
Well, the question is, how does that happen? How do we continue to keep it on the radar that it
Right,
doesn't drop off?
Right, it's up to us to keep it on the radar, but it's also, we need to get to the point where we just don't let things fall away.
But what would be the proper route to take? I mean, other than going to meetings, is there a proper protocol to ensure that things do get on?
So first, this is Karen, so first, go to the board, you do your proposal. If it's something they accept and they wanted to move forward, they will let us know. And they can also let us know when they think that will be a better time to be put on the budget. Because they know we're doing a 5-year plan.
Right.
Okay, they might say you might want to push that to 27 or 28, depending on what's going on with the park. But first, you just gotta go to the board of supervisors to get their blessing,
Right.
and then we go from there.
Yes, ultimately, once we get approval, it becomes our project to manage, right? So if they say 2027, we have to keep it on the radar to make sure that it happens.
so to do that, this is Tamara's on, in order to do that, once we present, if they say, hey, it's gonna be 2020, maybe we move it to the action log, so that
Right.
every month we're reviewing it, so
Right.
next year we remember.
Exactly.
That would be our method on how do we make sure we stay on top of that.
Right, because even if it's a follow-up to the board of supervisors, where we say annually, we show up and say, hey, folks, remember this? We just want to make sure that this is top of mind and that we're continuing to move towards it. Then that would be great. But my concern is that how to present it in a way where it's not eligible for removal every year. Like, once it's approved, then it's approved.
So it's more
Okay, so
efficient, yeah.
Let me explain this. So the items that were on, this is Karen again. The items that were on, that Dave talked about before,
Mhm.
were on the basic operation and maintenance
Right.
budget. These are capital improvement items. These don't fall off, okay? So, this is a little different. You're going a little different route than what was done before.
Okay.
Okay, so that is why, this is kind of like a working document. All right, so we have a plan, but then something could happen between now and next year, where we need to pull some money, and it has to be in budget for 27, no matter what, it can be added in there. But for the most part, we try to keep this as a working document. And with parks and not knowing dates of when things were put in and things, a roof, something could happen with a roof and we don't know and we have to make adjustments. We do that with this document. And those are all capital.
Okay.
Yeah, you're correct.
And then operational, those always fall off.
Right.
Okay, that's done, it's in September 30th, you won't see that again.
Got it.
Okay, that's the difference from before, Ken, okay? All right, does that help?
Yes, yes,
Mhm.
yeah.
Thank you.
And this is Tamara one more time. So moving on from that one, in the March meeting, if you guys remember, we had talked about, we had a presentation, I think Dave had put it together for the skills park, fun park, whatever it is,
Right.
right? And he had at that point asked if someone would take all that information he
Yes.
did and condense it down to like a presentation like Leo had done, and we didn't like assign it. What I'm asking is, do you guys want me to try and do that? Because that might still be out to 28 or whatever the year is, but is that something we should be working on? Considering.
Yeah. Fully agree. I think we need to prioritize what we're looking to attack first, and they're like, these are the two big things.
Right, that's what I was thinking too,
The
yeah.
park and the pavilion. This is just my opinion, I feel like the pavilion, because it's a really kind of centralized thing that's different, I would feel to attack that first,
Agreed.
right?
Yeah.
Where the park is something that we could grow into, we could do portions of it like Dave had presented, I think that makes a lot of sense. But that's going to be a living kind of project moving forward over time. The pavilion is what we should target right away. But that being said, I think it would be great if we had a presentation for that too. I just don't feel it would be, it would be the time to present that alongside of the pavilion.
I would agree with that.
Right.
I wasn't proposing that, yeah, just before we forget about that other one,
Sure.
because he did a lot of work,
I know.
right? And if it's way too big to present to the Board of Supervisors, but consolidating that down into something like what you had done, so that when the time comes, we have it ready. We're all
Yeah.
familiar with it. We still gotta proof it. We gotta do all of that kind of stuff, but
That would be
I guess I'm volunteering if you want somebody to start working on that. And,
That'd be wonderful.
And then whether that's August or September or whenever, that's fine.
Yeah, that's great. I don't think there needs to be a vote on that. That's excellent. Thank you. All right. Any other questions on the budget before we move to public comment? No, we're all good. Okay. Any public comment at the end of the meeting? Nothing?
I have one thing, and I know that it's not a Park and Recs thing, but it is of concern to all of us. And that is the cane toad issue. I'm just saying, I'm throwing it out there.
I see a lot on Facebook.
Well, yeah, and, you know, a cane toad can kill a dog. It can make a human temporary blind, and it kills all the other frogs in the pond.
Yeah.
So our community has bought traps. We have trappers going out almost every night around the pond, and they're skewering them. So I just would like to put that out there.
Yeah.
So that everybody can have.
And your community is, just so we have it recorded, Eagle Point.
Eagle Point.
This is Tamara Zahn, and I was gonna, in Pinecrest, we've got at least 3 individuals who've been going out and hunting, and they are catching a lot.
Yeah.
My
West Haven
husband
too.
alone did 21 in 10 days, you know, so they're finding them.
It's becoming a problem.
It is,
Even in West Haven,
it is a problem.
even over in West Haven, we only have 74 units and
Yeah.
we're finding them over there too. So I think from a Parks and Rec perspective, I was thinking about this the other day, like what can we do? Because it is kind of outside of our realm, but it affects all of us,
It
right?
does.
So is there something that perhaps we can post at the dog park? Or just in general at the parks? Like we don't have like a bulletin board in those areas, but maybe something,
We do at the dog park.
is there a bulletin board?
We have
there?
a, yes, there is.
So can we do
There's a bulletin
something,
board.
can we do something to put up there to just like
Notification.
on behalf of Parks and Rec, like, you know, we know that there's a cane toad problem, this is who you can contact, this is, you
This
know,
information,
Just
that you
info.
see and all that information
Well-
that I had.
this is what to watch out for, this
Right,
is,
and I posted what you sent me, I
Yeah.
posted that on Facebook.
okay,
But I guess my bigger question is, should we, as part of the district, somebody call, you know, those entities
Animal control
Right.
or some kind of
Exactly.
something.
Yeah.
Is there an
Those places.
organization?
from the organization, right, from the district, because me as an individual.
right.
Yeah, we can do it all day long.
Yeah.
But the district, I feel, needs to acknowledge to those entities that there's a freaking problem here.
And,
Yeah.
and I'm in Gateway Greens and nothing is being done.
Right,
Yeah, exactly. I mean, some communities aren't, some
And,
aren't.
and maybe like I was saying about sending an email blast about these meetings, maybe they should, one of the things the board over at Gateway Greens does, they send out, in addition to holding the monthly meetings, they do these quick notes, they send out an email blast about one particular item. It could just be like a paragraph or
Yeah,
two,
right.
just informing the residents
Yeah.
about a particular issue. If we can get an email blast saying, this is the thing, it might get the word out a lot better than maybe, and not that I'm saying a message on a bulletin board doesn't
No.
work, but you might reach more people by getting
Yeah.
an email out.
Oh, yeah.
But my point of this is that even though the residents, let's say all of us did something, we still have the habitat, the preserve that is there, and nobody can go in there and do anything. And you know that those cane
Right.
toads are thriving there.
Right.
And the state or somebody needs to go in there and clean house because we're gonna lose the animals in our preserve. And that is my biggest concern right there.
So, I mean, Karen, we could take that anyway. I mean, from a Parks and Rec perspective, that's a huge concern for the community as a whole.
Yeah,
But from a Parks and Rec perspective, if people are not coming out and enjoying our facilities because of this, then it does
then
affect
it's
us
a
directly.
problem.
Then it's absolutely a Parks and Rec issue that we need to address somehow.
Well, let me discuss this further with
Yeah.
Paul and how we can do something as a district to get
Right.
that word out, if anything, and who to contact. Might be the best way, but I'll discuss it with Paul.
And this is kind of, I mean, people are aware of the problem, but people want to know what's being done about it. I think if we step up and get the word out on a district level, not just Parks and Rec, but on a district
Right.
level, we are aware of it, this is what we propose to do, and maybe we can have a meeting about it, you know, about concerned citizens.
I think if the district said, we are contacting the state, these organizations, and letting them know, that's really all that the district can do. But
Exactly.
it's clout.
Right.
Right? And then we can follow up with phone calls to let them know how much of a problem it is.
Right.
So I mean, I really want you to consider having the district, somebody from the district to make those phone calls first. And it can be planned, it should be planned and orchestrated, right?
Yeah.
That you're doing it first, and then, you know, maybe the park, each of us from the Park and Rec is doing it, and then the community start calling. And we can get some action.
Joe Schofield, I'm sure this would also affect your ponds committee.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
And there was a similar issue a number of years ago with these wild hogs or pigs. And that got into some legal issues with Tony and the board and how they would handle it. And Tony's comment, and I don't remember it exactly, he kind of made a poem out of it, but it was, don't touch it because it'll come back and bite you or something like that. But I think bringing it to the CDD supervisors for their acknowledgement at least, then let them figure out what legally they can pursue. It's a
Exactly.
great idea, but it certainly affects all the pools and ponds.
Everything, it affects everything.
So people walking on sidewalks,
Mm-hmm.
they could get nailed.
Thank you.
Thank you. Cool. All right.
Leo, one more comment, if I may. Tamara's on. Just real quick, especially since we have one more person here who may be joining our committee. Our charter is our charter to come up with ideas for our parks and our recs and submit them to the Board of Supervisors. That's basically what we've been chartered to do, right? Okay.
Yes. Yeah, we don't get to make.
We don't get to make the
Decisions.
calls, the
Correct.
decisions, the budget. We come up with ideas and submit them.
Yeah, and listen, that's why it's so beneficial that we have a broad kind of scope throughout the community, right? We're all from different communities now.
Yeah.
So, including Joseph that comes on, you know, we
Yeah.
spread the gamut. So that's really great because we're to represent a wide, broad stroke, so it's good.
Thank you.
All right, excellent. Okay, member items and reports. Any specific reports from anyone? I don't have anything here. So set next meeting agenda. I think, so if we talk about the date there, we will definitely have, the majority of that will basically be debrief of what happens at the Board of Supervisors meeting. Right? If we're looking at dates, my
June
calendar,
3rd,
June 3rd is what we're looking at.
first Tuesday.
And that's the day.
June 3rd.
You're gonna be away? So, only one.
Everybody gets
Just
a
don't make it happen.
everybody gets a
Just don't
vacation.
make it happen.
Yeah. June 3rd at 1:30 PM. Yep, that's actually, Georgia already put that out, so it's already scheduled.
Correct.
Yeah, I think as far as agenda goes, it'll basically be a debrief of the pavilion, and then what else did we need to carry over? That will also be Joe's first meeting.
I'll bring in ideas for the t-shirts or for the Park and Rec shirts.
Yep, that's great. Parks and Rec shirts for the red, white, and pool. I can't ever say that correctly.
This is Ken again. We had spoken at a prior meeting that in the past during the summer,
We weren't gonna do every month.
we may not necessarily meet every month. Is that
Right.
something you want to talk about at the next meeting, or is that just,
Well,
it is what it is?
we could talk about it next meeting, or do we
Yeah.
need to have that meeting? I feel with the momentum for the pavilion, we probably should have it.
For June, yes.
It'll probably be quick, but we could talk about these little fun things, and then maybe, we could absolutely add that discussion.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
and Red, White, and Boom should probably be on there as well, right?
Right, yeah, by that point.
Okay.
That'll be a topic of getting that booth, right?
Yeah.
Having a presence there, that'd be great.
Maybe an update on the cane tote
Yeah, okay, too.
debacle.
Yep. Yep. All right,
Anything else? I mean, that does pretty well, then you guys can discuss at that time your summer meetings.
December meeting, you guys schedule it. All right, anything else? That's the meeting agenda. If that's all, I think we can adjourn this meeting.